Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do this berry stitch in a staggered formation. Underneath the video I'll put a link to the straight version of this stitch where you can have all your little berries just running up in straight lines. So for this video I have used first choice double knitting. This is only 99 pence a ball. It's sold in a shop in the UK called Home Bargains. Beautiful yarn. It says it's double knitting, but it's actually quite thick. It's quite a thick yarn. It makes beautiful, beautiful crochet and knitting. Look at this, it's absolutely beautiful. This is what the back looks like on this, and I'll show you how at the end to put a simple edge down the side with this. So if you're going to use different yarn, just use the hook it tells you on the yarn label. But what I'll say is you could try doing this in a size bigger hook. This is quite a compact stitch, so you might have to use one size bigger in your hook to make this open up. You can, if it tells you to use a 5, you can use a 5.5 and it'll make it much lighter because it is quite a dense stitch. And if you want the stitch to be nice and light, then if it tells you to use a 5, try a 5.5 and see how you go with it, because it is a dense stitch. So that's what I would do with it. I would use a bigger crochet hook. So it tells you on this yarn to use, the shade on this is 51, by the way, it's 51. It tells you to actually use a 4mm crochet hook, but I'm using a 4.5 for this. This is quite a thick yarn. It says it's double knitting, but I would never use a 4 crochet hook for that. I think it would be too tight. So anyway, I'm using a 4.5 and I'm going to show you how to do this really pretty staggered berry stitch. It's kind of like a cheats bobble. It's not a bobble stitch, it's just a nice big stitch. So it's really easy for beginners to do this. It's a UK double crochet and a UK triple treble crochet, and don't let that put you off. This is a very easy stitch. It's just one berry stitch, one double crochet, one berry stitch, one double crochet. Your second row is all double crochets. So easy, but it is so pretty. Look at that. So I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful berry stitch. You can use it for blankets, for scarves, even for hats as well. It's beautiful. This is from a shop in the UK called Pound Stretchers. I think it's £1.99 for 3. You get 3 of these 50-gram balls. It's 100% acrylic. This one is called Pastel Grey. There's no number on it, it's just called Pastel Grey. It's a double knitting yarn. It's really nice. It really crochets up nice. It's really soft as well for being a budget yarn. It's really soft and it's a lovely silver grey. So I'm going to do a slip knot. If you can't do a slip knot, if you're a beginner and you can't do a slip knot, just tie your yarn on to your hook like that. Just tie it on. Put your yarn over and pull it through. Now just pull it up a little bit because that first little stitch will disappear. So that's you got it on your hook. So you're going to need an even number of stitches for this. Do your chain the length that you need it. Use a measuring tape if you have to and measure your chain to the length that you want it. I'm going to do a sample. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So into your second stitch, I'll bring this down. So into the second stitch in your chain, you're going to do what's called a UK double crochet. If you're in the USA, this is a single crochet for you. So it's a UK double crochet. Into that second stitch, push your hook right through, pull your yarn through. You've got 2 loops on your hook. So yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. You're going to do that all the way to the end. Make sure you have an odd number. Because we started our chain in an even number, we've gone into the second stitch. That stitch here makes the side. So you should have an odd number of stitches. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet into every stitch. And then I'll count them. I'll make sure I've got an odd number. So I've done my foundation chain. I've got 31 stitches. So I must have done 32 in my foundation chain. So I've done 1 UK double crochet. Now this is the right side of your blanket. You're going to chain 1 and turn. You're going to put a double crochet into that very first stitch. That chain 1 is not a stitch. So go right into that very first stitch there and do a double crochet. You'll do a double crochet into the second stitch. Now into the third stitch we're going to do the berry stitch. Now the berry stitch is 3 times around your yarn. It's like a little fake bobble stitch. 1, 2 and 3. If you're in the UK, this is called a triple treble crochet. So I'm calling it a berry stitch because that's what it goes under in some of the patterns and books that I've seen. Anyway, we're doing this as a berry stitch. So 3 times around your yarn and go into the next stitch and pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Right up until we get to the end, we're going to do 1 berry stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 berry stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 berry stitch and 1 double crochet. So straight into the next stitch and do a UK double crochet. Now what it does is it pulls that big stitch into a bobble or a berry or a little bundle like that. Once you've got used to this, you can adjust it if you want. You can do 2 double crochets in between your berry stitches. So into the next stitch, wrap your yarn 3 times around your hook so it looks like you've got 4 loops on your hook. Right through the stitch and pull through. Yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over, come through 2 loops and once again yarn over and through those 2 loops. Into the next stitch, UK double crochet. 1, 2, 3 times around your hook and into the next stitch. And we're going to make another little berry stitch. Double crochet into the next stitch and that's going to pull that one down. 1, 2, 3 and into the next stitch all the way to the end. Double crochet into the next stitch and then do your berry stitch 3 times around your hook and pull through the next stitch. Then double crochet into the next stitch all the way along. 1. So I've got 3 stitches left at the end. I'm going to do my berry stitch into the next one. And then the last 2 are going to be a double crochet into each of those stitches. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Remember that chain 1 is not a stitch. And this is what you get. You get these little bobbly berries. Into the very first stitch. These are the 2 rows you're going to repeat. This berry row and the very next row is 1 full row of double crochets. So you're going to do 1 double crochet into every stitch. So right into that beginning there, you're going to do a double crochet. one into the next stitch. Your next stitch is kind of down beside the bobble there. That's 2. And then your next stitch, you give it a little turn and you can see that, just go into that space there, and that'll let you catch that stitch at the top of the berry. Into the next stitch, then there'll be one at the top of the berry, and that's what you'll do all the way along. So I'm at the end and I'm doing my last double crochet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. What we're wanting to do is we want to move that berry over here so it staggers like this, so that the berries stagger in and out like this on the edge. What it does is it pushes all the berries along one so that they sit in between each other, and you get this lovely textured pattern. It's still flat on the back, just as it does with the straight lined ones. There is a video how to do this in straight lines. I'll leave the link underneath the video and you can go and check that one out. I'll show you how just to keep your berries on a straight line on the other video, but with this one I'm going to show you how it staggers in and out at the edge, which pushes all the berries across, and you get this beautiful texture. Look at that, it's absolutely beautiful. I'll pop that over there. So I've done my chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work. Now on that berry row we done 2 double crochets. This time we're only going to do 1. We're going to put 1 double crochet into that first stitch, and then you're going to start your berry stitch. So 1, 2, 3 wraps around your crochet hook and into that stitch. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and the last ones. You're going to double crochet into the next stitch. You're going to do a berry stitch in the next one. You're just going to follow the pattern now. 1 berry stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 berry stitch, 1 double crochet. And what that's done, as you can see, it's started the berries 1 space over. So all of these ones will sit sort of in between. And I'm going to do that all the way along. I'm just going to do my 1 berry stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 berry stitch, 1 double crochet, all the way to the end, and I should finish with a berry stitch and 1 double crochet at the end. So I'll get that done and I'll come back and I'll show you all the next row. So I'm at my last 2 stitches, so I'm going to do a berry stitch and to that second last one, so I've done my berry stitch and I've got 1 stitch left, and I'm going to do a double crochet, chain 1 and turn my work. So as you can see, it's moved. You've got a berry here now, and it's going to stagger all the rest of them in between the ones that are down below. It's a really pretty texture with this, really easy, much easier than the puff stitch. So into the next stitch I'm going to do a double crochet right into that very first stitch and kind of tilt my work a little bit just to get the stitch that it turns itself around a little bit, so it is there. So just turn your work a little bit, and remember, don't go into that hole there. You're going in and catching these 2 stitches. It just kind of twists itself the way the berries push down. So go in and just pull your yarn through and do your double crochet. There's a stitch in between, and then 1, catch that stitch that's kind of moved over to the back, you're going to do 1 double crochet all the way along. Make sure you don't go in that space there. Make sure you go into the space that's here, where you can catch those 2 strands. And you'll do 1 double crochet all the way to the end. So this one, to stagger the berries, has 3 rows to repeat. You'll have your first row where you've got 2 double crochets at the beginning, and then you start your berry pattern. You've got your 1 double crochet in between all the way along, and then your third row is only 1 double crochet and a berry. Then you'll do a double crochet row. Your next row, you'll go back to this one here. You'll do 2 double crochets and then start your berry, and you'll finish with 2 double crochets. So this is the 3 rows that you'll repeat. The 2 double crochets and your berry, your 1 row of double crochets, and then your next berry one is 1 double crochet and a berry, and that staggers your berries in and out up the edge like this one here. It will stagger them. I've got it out and then in, but that one's in then out so it doesn't really matter. It staggers them in and out like that, which makes all the rest do the same, and you get that pretty pattern. So I'll finish my double crochets and I'll show you that one more row. So I'm on my last double crochet. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. So the next row we need to get the berry over here, so we'll be doing 2 double crochets first when we turn. So now you'll do 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet and then a berry stitch. So 1 into that first stitch, 1 into the second stitch, and then start your berry. 1, 2, 3 wraps around and do your berry stitch. You'll always be doing the berry stitch when you're on the back of your work, so it goes to the front. Double crochet into the next stitch, and you'll just repeat your pattern. 1 berry stitch, 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3 wraps around into the next stitch. Pull that through and double crochet. So what it's done now is it's brought the berry back in between these 2. If you try and remember, at each end 2 double crochets, your next berry row it's 1 double crochet at each end, your next berry row is 2 double crochets at each end, then it'll go back to 1, then 2, then 1, then 2, and in between you've got 1 full row of double crochets. And if your berries end up on this side, just push them through, and that's all you do. You just keep repeating those rows. Just keep repeating those rows until you get this. This is what you'll have. Turn that around the right way, and you'll just work on it all the way up until it's as big as you want it. And this is what you'll get. It will stagger in and out, and you get this beautiful texture. Now to finish your blanket, finish on a double crochet row like this. And then what you can do is, I'm going to show you on this, I haven't finished this one yet. I'll just rip this back out once I've showed you what to do. So when you've done your last stitch on your last row, you're going to just chain 1 and then go back into that same stitch. And that's your turn going down the side. And what you're going to do is put 1 double crochet into each row on this blanket. So just go in there and do 1 double crochet into the next row, 1 double crochet into the next row. 1 should be enough for each row. Work your way down, and this is going to neaten your edge. you'll be able to neaten the edge of your blanket. You can do more than one round, around and around with your double crochet. When you get to the corner, you can put 2 double crochet, 2 chain and 2 double crochet into the corners if you're going to do more than one row. Now I'm just going to finish and neaten that edge off, and it's just 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way down, and it gives you a nice neat edge. I can take that back out again. That's how you'll finish your blanket. I'm going to take that back out because I've not finished my blanket yet. I need that stitch. I've taken one too many out, just going to go into there. And that's all you do to get this beautiful pattern. And I'll put a link underneath how to do this blanket in straight lines, how to get your berry in straight lines, which is really pretty as well. I'll leave a link underneath the video. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Help me to get up to 250,000 subscribers. I've got a little while to go yet, and then the next step up is 500,000. So we're nearly at the 250,000. I'm really surprised. We're really getting there with it. And if you click on the bell icon, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.